Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Well. It's Friday! Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel where I'm going to show my concern for white people today. I guess I'm half that, but in America that doesn't count. You know what I mean? Anyway, look, there's a discussion on the app formerly known as Twitter about a certain Tucker Carlson episode. We'll talk about that a little bit today because I was scouring the replies to this kind of thread that's followed the posting of his episode, which I don't necessarily disagree with, but there's also reasons that he's missed a little bit, and I saw one of the best answers, so I want to go through that answer today, because it's not about whether certain things are happening that's making a new systemic paradigm, but who to blame for it and how we fix it is the bigger deal. And so, because it's not normally the thing I talk about a lot, because I depend on you for for making this show happen. So I can't. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change my opinion either way, because I'll say whatever the fuck I want because it's my show. But I just thought I'd touch on it today because it's an interesting topic, and I think there's some good people out there with good ideas that help explain it and whatnot. So anyway, we'll do that and much more. But of course, what do I do at the beginning of this show? I say hi to everybody because I'm so glad that you have made it that I just want to make sure that I say hi. And also, before I get any more crap from our good friend AD, I'm going to put up the Q&A today because it's also Q&A Friday. And Q&A Friday is the best Friday and the best place to be on Friday is here for Friday Q&A because you get to ask questions, and sometimes the questions are related to what we talked about. Sometimes the questions are personal about me because it's ask me anything thing, right? And ask me anything. And then sometimes the questions are just philosophical gems from people who have a lot of time to think up things that we don't always all get to think about. And it's important that we answer every question on Q&A Friday. So that's what we're going to do. So let me type that in because I should have done that earlier. Friday Q&A. Oh, I didn't put the Y in the Friday. Friday Q&A. Ask me anything. All right, so that gets its own little separate spot on the thingy up there. It goes up there at the top. See, it pops up there. There it is. Poof. You should see in a second if you don't already see it. And you can use that section to ask me anything, and I'll do my best to answer it in the way that the tenor of the question demands. And it will be a lovely, lovely thing. So let's get the show started here because it's important we get the show started by saying hi first in the chat on Rumble. Now, there are how many people watching on Rumble? 7 people on Rumble. Now, I'm one of them. I can't count myself. I have a Rumble window open just so that I can check on it every once in a while to make sure it's running. Is it running, by the way? Let's mute it because I don't want to. No. Okay. Oh, it is working. Good. It's working. I see it. I almost heard my own voice there, so that's working. And YouTube seems to be working pretty good. Excellent. Collect. Blah 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 blah. You know the thing. It's working. So let's say hi to everybody. First, the chat on Rumble. Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell. I know. I'm so excited about that. And it's so common, but it's just good to see that AD is on top of things every morning. But then he says YouTube was hiding me from this morning. So, I see why you said that. I got it. I got you there. Oh no, what happened to my YouTube chat? It's out of order. Well, I know who was first, so I'll get there in a second. And also good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg. I don't know. Oh, did I give you a bell too? Well, I give you. That was a faux pas. But Mike, every once in a while you deserve a bell too, even just for being the great person that you are. And one of the longer time watchers of the show. I think Mike's been here since probably. Didn't you start watching like in the first few months? I really appreciate that you come by. First, now my chat's all messed up on YouTube. Maybe like what happens if I refresh over here? What would happen? No, that wouldn't do anything. Anyway, I know who was first on YouTube this morning, and that was Mr. Kara Soldier, who gets the bell. Yes. Well, anytime you beat Avocados Diablo, that is an accomplishment. So congratulations. Very well done. All right. Now the rest of the chat is not going to be in order because my chat is messed up with that Friday Q&A thing. So I'll just say hi to everyone I can see. First, hello, GDSOB. Welcome. Also, good morning, Grant Sanford. Welcome back. Nice to have you. Colored time. Yeah, you said I'm going to be, I'm on black people time or something, black time or some shit. And you had time to walk your dog. Well, if you can walk your dog in 10 minutes, then I suppose you would have had time to walk your dog. But the correct term is CPT, aka colored people time. So thank you. Get that right. Also, good morning to JB, Zed the Snarky, and Lynn. I said GDSOB. My favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies in the house. Good morning also to Mike Savage, Blarg. And Bookworm Addict is here. Looks like Soundable Nation, who thank you for tweeting out the show. You always beat me to it, and I appreciate that you are on the spot on that. Good morning, Special K on Acid, Attack Alpaca. Good morning to, I'm scrolling down. Is anyone else here? Simon Wolfwood's in the house. Nice to see you. Good morning also to Amazing Disgrace. Tribute Liberty, what's up, my brother? Good morning also to, that looks like, is that everybody? That's everybody so far. Wait, congrats, Kara Soldier, for stealing the bell from the original bell hog, Avocados Diablo. Well, yeah, he's not a bell hog. He's quick. You got to be quick. You know, the fish, you know what? Every time I bring that up, I wonder if people even know what the hell I'm talking about. I think it was a State Farm commercial, and the guy there was $1 on the floor. This woman tried to pick it up, and then the dollar moves, and she picks it up. The dollar moves, and there was an old guy with a fishing pole going, "You gotta be quick. You gotta be quick." I always thought that was a funny commercial just because the old guy had this aura to him of being kind of out there lost. So anyway, all right. So let's get into what's happening today. Today I have fewer time limits because technically I'm supposed to be drinking beer in Des Moines right now. This is normally the weekend I go down to the Drake Relays and then I do a live stream from the bar, but I didn't go this year because I for various reasons I had some obligations here that I needed to take care of that I couldn't go to the Drake Relays. This is the first time in 10 years that you've got me on this day where I'm not drinking beer with a bunch of college students. So, congratulations. You get me sober and not interviewing a bunch of drunk college kids. So anyway, the war on white people can be blamed squarely on white people of certain type. Oh, Lord Stanhope, good morning. You are foreshadowing. I'm just saying. You are foreshadowing. If you know what foreshadowing means, most of you should if you went to school, which most of you did. Okay, so by the way, real quick, I didn't say thanks to the notification people, the people who have tweeted out the show. First, thank you. Now, who is Nexus Frontlines? That's a new one who tweeted out the show. Or is that? No. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, I see what you see. Okay, thank you, Somnambule Nation, for tweeting out the show. Skeptalk, wait a minute. Oh, I see. That's retweeting something else. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep. Jimmy, are you here yet? I don't see you. And that's it. Look, if that's all, what the hell's going on here? All right, I'm going to put the link in the chat. All you got to do is, if you're on X, retweet it, or hit the little share button below the thingy here. It's probably over here somewhere, whether you're on YouTube or Rumble. Hit that share thing and share the stream out, please. What's going on here? Also, I know that I say this every day, but hit the like button. There's 23 people here. There's 11 likes. Just let's get that ratio up, because that, I don't know why that helps, but it does. And then also, if you want to sponsor the show, the best place to do super chats is pdognight.live. pdognight.live, you can write a lot more stuff. You can put links. You can do all that stuff, and you don't have to pay more to do it. However, if you want to hijack the show with it linked to an article, well, I ask that you drop it Hamilton, and we'll make that one of the featured articles on the show today. And if it gets my blood pressure boiling, so be it, I guess. So, all right, news. Oh, by the way, I do have a cup of reparations. I got the Las Vegas Cup going today. Viva Las Vegas. And a very good cup of coffee today. All right, so let's go. It's morning news time. Things trending on the app. Well, first of all, today's day, the day of the day. Good morning, Anonymity T2. I'll be back. And also Unacceptable Views. Welcome. Nice to see you. Okay. The day of the day, as we try to determine what every day. Today is Arbor Day. Arbor Day is the day that people are supposed to plant a tree. Now, the Arbor Day Foundation dropped this post saying it's finally here. Yay! Yay! Like Christmas. The day to say yes to trees. We're celebrating the many. What? Oh, we're celebrating the many yeses from partners, members, and supporters like you who helped us plant hundreds of millions of trees, and the many more yeses it will take to plant even more. So somebody at the Arbor Day Foundation cannot spell. They spelled yeses W-E-S-E-S. Wouldn't it be Y-E-S-S? Shouldn't there be two S's to that? Y-E-S-S-E-S? If you're going to say yeses, let me see. All right, let me see which one's right. Yeah. Okay. In fact, here, I'm going to just make a poll. Let's do a poll, because today I might do some useless polls too. Why doesn't it let me start the poll? What the hell? Okay, there we go. Which is it? And we'll see how much spelling prowess you have. Is it yeses or yeses? Okay, you pick one, and we'll see who gets it right, and whoever the wrong person is going to look. Well, I don't know, because I don't even know if yeses is a proper word anyway. So anyway, good morning, Patty O'Furniture. How you doing? And also Shrapnel's in the house. Welcome. Okay, so Arbor Day Foundation. Now here's the thing. Is it Arbor Day began, I believe, in my home state. Let me look up Arbor Day here. I'm pretty sure Arbor Day started in Nebraska. Let me see. Let's look it up. Arbor Day. We'll go Wikipedia here. Okay, so I guess not. I guess that's incorrect. Oh, the first American Arbor Day. Here we go. Yeah, J. Sterling Morton, because the reason I know that, the first American Arbor Day was originated by J. Sterling Morton of Nebraska City, Nebraska, at an annual meeting of the Nebraska State Board of Agriculture held in Lincoln. On April 10th, 1872, an estimated 1 million trees were planted in Nebraska. In 1883, the American Forestry Association made Birdsey, north of Connecticut, the chairman of the committee to campaign for Arbor Day nationwide. Northrop further globalized the idea when he visited Japan in 1895 and delivered his Arbor Day and Village Improvement message. He also brought his enthusiasm for Arbor Day to Australia, Canada, and other countries in Europe. So, yes, and the reason I knew that Arbor Day started in Nebraska is because I went to Morton Junior High. Yes, this junior high in Omaha named after J. Sterling Morton. So, 1872, were you there? Motherfucker, I am not that old. Okay, so, I went to J. Sterling Morton Junior High, and so we knew about Arbor Day. Now, here's the thing about Arbor Day, and if everyone in the world, I suppose, would plant a tree on Arbor Day, then we wouldn't have to go through all this bullshit carbon reduction, whatever shit they're doing. And although they want to make sure they tax you anyway, you know, one tree can neutralize most people's carbon footprint. Do you know that? Like the trees, the plants of the world absorb more carbon than we produce anyway. But if everyone planted a tree, then all you motherfuckers who talk about climate change, global warming could shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's go. All right. So anyway, happy Arbor Day. Also, there's a couple significant birthdays today. One of them is Melania Trump. Happy birthday, Melania Trump. Some people are being kind and just putting out nice Melania Trump messages. She's a fine individual. You know, now I gotta laugh when you see the X post the grok summary of her birthday, but lots of people putting out lovely pictures of Melania Trump looking her finest and whatnot. People saying, you know, showing pictures of her with Donald and classiest first lady since Jacqueline Kennedy. And who's that? That's not Melania Trump. That's not even her, is it? Is that her? Well, maybe it is. Anyway, happy birthday, Melania Trump, the lovely former first lady, and maybe future again first lady. Who knows? Here's the grok summary though. Let's read it. Melania Trump's birthday. Love amid challenges. Okay. Melania Trump, the former First Lady of the United States, is celebrating her birthday amidst an outpouring of well wishes and support from the public on social media platforms. Notable figures and everyday citizens alike have expressed their admiration for her grace, beauty, and style, highlighting her role as the classiest First Lady. The birthday wishes come at a time when Melania and her family are facing challenges aiming to uplift her spirits with messages of support and encouragement. The celebration showcases the love and appreciation people have for her, serving as a reminder of the impact she had during her time as First Lady. Now, look, it's interesting. That summary by Grok, which is a AI bot on Twitter, X, whatever it's called. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, let's go back. There are plenty of people who are, you know, hate the Trump so much that they can't even wish her happy birthday without bringing up some other bullshit. So anyway, but for the most part, people have been very kind because, you know, you can't blame her for anything that her husband does. Okay. And frankly, I'm still supporting her husband for president. Oh, by the way, I was thinking about this the other day. And again, happy birthday, Melania Trump. I was thinking about this the other day. Do I consider myself a Trump supporter? Okay. And I think about that question carefully. Because, you know, people are always bitching about MAGA people and whatever. And look, in principle, I am a MAGA person. Of course, everyone should be a Make America Great Again or whatever person, right? But am I a Trump supporter? Because I always, I say, well, I think Trump's a jackass, but he's absolutely the best choice for president because sometimes you need a jackass. You need a jackass in that office, somebody who doesn't give a fuck. And that's the best thing about Donald Trump is he doesn't need other people bribing him. He doesn't need other people's money. He already has money. He doesn't need he could lose half his net worth and still be just fine. So I don't care. I like the fact that he doesn't have to care about other people's bullshit to be president. Does that mean I'm a Trump supporter? No. What that means is I'm an America supporter. So the idea of America first, I always do the cabin pressure in a plane analogy. When the cabin pressure is lost in the plane, you take care of you first and make sure that you're healthy so that you can help if you want to help everybody else, you can, so that you're even able to help anybody else. And right now, the entire world's lost cabin pressure, and we're not putting our mask on right now. And that's the problem. That's what I believe in America. Am I an athletic reporter? Oh, no, why wouldn't you be a Trump supporter? It doesn't mean that I don't. I support Trump to be president, but that's because I'm an America supporter. Trump personally? No, I mean, he can support himself. I'm an America supporter, and that's why I would vote for Trump. That's so, because people want to disparage you, calling you part of a cult. No, I'm not part of a cult. I just want what's best for the country. And right now, between the choices we have for the president of the United States, there's an obvious choice. And it does not rhyme with slow-minded, okay? Or slow riding, whatever. Or Poseidon. That's the best analogy for Joe Biden. His name rhymes with Poseidon. And that is a sinking ship. Okay? All right. Let's move on. Also another birthday. There's another important birthday today, and this one is just something straight from my childhood. Because I tell you what, every week this woman had a show on TV that my family watched almost religiously, and that would be the great Carol Burnett. Carol Burnett's 91st birthday today. She's still alive and kicking. She had one of the great comedy sketch shows on, and her cast was great. Her, Harvey Korman, Vicki Lawrence, and Tim Conway were phenomenal. It was a great variety show. She had some of the funniest bits ever on TV. Happy birthday to Carol Burnett. That's not Carol Burnett. That's not. Oh, here we go. Anyway, happy birthday to the incredibly hilarious and talented Carol Burnett, who also happens to be Julie Andrews' dearest chum. They were very good friends. Yes. One of the great. Look. Generally, and don't take this personally, ladies, but generally women are not funny. Carol Burnett was fucking hilarious. I'm sorry. She was a great comedic actress, and happy birthday to Carol Burnett. Love the woman, even though I don't know her. Whoa, what the hell is that? No. Stop.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What the hell is that? Click the right button, dumbass. Oh, wait. That would be me. Johnny's on vacation, so that's all me today. All right. Moving on. Other trending things. Core PCE, the producer consumer price index. What is it? Whatever. The inflation thing. The inflation thing's trending, and apparently PC and Core PC price index has shot up 0.3% in March. Now, remember when they said, this is a good question. You remember when they said inflation was slowing down? They had that big old Inflation Reduction Act that was supposed to do all this great shit about inflation. Nope. Once again, inflation data came in hotter than expected. As year to year, I always forget what the fuck's PCE stand for. It's well, anyway, the PCE rose 2.7%, with year-to-year core PCE rising 2.8%. March personal spending spiked at 0.8% as consumers paid higher prices, and as incomes only rose 0.5%. So we're losing ground more. The savings rate plunged at 3.2% from 3.6%, the lowest since November 2022. So whatever that Inflation Reduction Act was supposed to do, ain't doing shit. I'm just saying, it ain't doing shit. Here, let's hear. This is a little longer one. What's this one say? Breaking March PEC inflation. What the Fed cares about the most when it comes to inflation rose 2.7%. This was above the expectation of 2.6%. The core PCE inflation came in at 2.8%, above the expectation of 2.6%. CPI, PPI, and PCE inflation have all now rose for the past 2 months. However, markets are still green after this news in the pre-markets, with S&P 500 up 1%. Big tech earnings, Google and Microsoft, may be allowing the market to overlook this. Inflation will have to come down for rate cuts to be on the table this year. So the Fed, there will be no, thank you, personal consumption expenditures. So anyway, so don't expect interest rates to be coming down anytime soon. Let's just put it that way. So if you're, buying a house, or if you have a variable rate credit card or something, you're stuck here for a while. because they're not going to lower the lending rate to banks. Which but I'm sure they'll continue to print more money since they got another $190 billion to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. So FTG to the powers that be. Now, a couple just odd and end things that aren't really necessarily trending, but I thought were notable. Let's say notable, not necessarily humorous or notable, just notable. Okay. Now, apparently. And this it's trending a little bit. Biden has been shamed into having his handler surround him while he walks so he doesn't appear to be as much shuffling, wandering fool. Apparently this is a scoop from Axios, the news outlet. Scoop. This is a scoop. Now, this is just some scintillating news. Biden changed his walking routine to Marine One, the helicopter thingy. President Biden introduced a change to his White House departure and return routine. Instead of walking across the South Lawn to and from Marine One by himself, he is now often surrounded by aides, and not the 1990 Fauci couldn't do shit about it aides that. Never mind. Why it matters. With aides walking between Biden and journalist camera position outside the White House, the visual effect is to draw less attention to the 81-year-old's halting and stiff gait. Zooming in, some Biden advisors have told Axios they're concerned that videos of Biden walking and shuffling along like a 80-year-old plus man, especially across the grass, have highlighted his age. Oh, gee, that's the only thing that's highlighted his age. Now, weeks ago, the president told aides he preferred a less formal approach, a White House office official told Axios. He suggested that they walk with him. Oh, they're trying to hide him. Now, White House staffers and reporters alike noticed the sudden change in Biden's walk routine beginning in mid-April after more than 3 years in which he typically walked solo. Senior aides such as Deputy Chief of Staff Bruce Reed and Ann Tomasini and close advisor Mike Donilon are among those who've walked with the president across the lawn to and from the helicopter. Since the change, some advisors think the images of Biden's walks to and from the helicopter are better, and they expect him to continue to have aides walk with him. Yeah, they're just hiding the fact that he walks like an old man, which, whatever. He's an old man. I mean, do you expect him to be, skipping, or doing like, what are those things called when you, do you expect him to bear crawl? No. Anyway, so and someone now this is a point that I appreciate, and this is someone who's asking the question. I'm sorry. Why the fuck is anyone associated with Biden or the White House talking to the media about this? That's a good question. Do you want to draw attention to this? Why would anyone in the White House want to draw attention to the fact that the White House is trying to hide how old Biden looks when he walks, when he shuffles along like an old guy? I'm not a Biden supporter, but I'm curious, why would anyone in the White House talk to the press about that? That's kind of dumb. Anyway, good morning. Linda Hunter's in the house. What's up, Linda? Nice to see you back. All right. Also, speaking of Biden, now we got and here's the summary. President Biden's aides have recently modified his walking routine in Marine One, with aides now surrounding him during a walk across the South Lawn of the White House. The change sparked a range of reactions, from humorous to critical, with some questioning the necessity and professionalism of discussing the president's age and mobility in the media. That's what I don't get. You have a president who is running for president again, who many people are skeptical of because of his declining stature as a human being. And your aides decide to talk to the press about why you're surrounding with people so people can't notice as much. That's a campaign fail, if you ask me. So, he's been assigned walkers. So anyway, moving on. Also, the Biden White House, apparently there's some staffers in the White House who are trying to get rid of KJP. Now, no, don't get her, don't do that. And someone says White House coup. Don't say White House coup. That'll get blamed on Republicans. Biden aides tried ousting Karine Jean-Pierre, the very French-sounding lesbian black woman who is the White House spokesperson. I don't know why I brought up lesbian black woman. But anyway, in a recent development at the White House, top aides to President Biden attempted to replace White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre last fall. The plan involved recruiting outside allies to nudge Jean-Pierre out the door, as some aides felt she lacked understanding of the issues and relied too heavily on reading from a binder word for word during press briefings. Despite these efforts, the attempt was unsuccessful, and Jean-Pierre remains in her role. Critics have pointed out her perceived shortcomings, while supporters have highlighted her resilience in the face of an internal opposition. She's objectively bad at her job, and I don't want her gone. I want her there because she is one of the greatest. she's one of the greatest purveyors of YouTube content on the planet. I mean, just because. So anyway, they planned. Oh wow. Biden's top aides secretly plan to replace the White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. There's a huge diversity issue, and they're afraid of what folks are going to say. Oh, you cannot! The Biden administration cannot remove Karine Jean-Pierre. It would be devastating to them. She would have to have an excuse to resign on her own, or she wants to move on, spend more time with her. Let's say with her family, whatever, whoever her significant other, the white lady she's dating. No, they can't do it. And oh my God, the charges of racism and sexism and homophobia and everything would be just flying if they fired her. So she would have to voluntarily step down without being suggested to do so. And even when she does, if she does, there will still be people bitching about it. So anyway, we would definitely miss Karine Jean-Pierre though if they got rid of her, because she's awesome. Also in the news, other people in the news that we talk about often. Adam Schiff's in the news. Apparently, Adam Schiff has been a victim of the place from which he lives. In a surprising turn of event, Representative Adam Schiff, a California politician and U.S. Senate candidate, was robbed in San Francisco on Thursday, April 25th. That would be yesterday. Thieves broke into his car in a downtown parking garage and stole his luggage, forcing Schiff to give a speech without a suit. The incident has sparked a range of reactions online, from sympathy to humor, and has brought attention to San Francisco's ongoing issue with car burglaries. The event has also added another layer of complexity to Schiff's Senate campaign. So his car was in a parking garage in San Francisco. Look, if you visit San Francisco and you happen to be in a rent-a-car, you're driving or whatever, and I know this from personal experience, no matter what you do not leave your car with things in it. Okay. Or at least guard it, or where you can see it, because when we were in San Francisco, I literally were there an hour. We stopped to get lunch because we couldn't check into our hotel room, and while we were eating lunch, our car got broken into and some of our bags were taken. Now, not all of them, because there was a couple people there that stopped the guys or scared them off at least. But yeah, and it happens constantly in San Francisco. Car break-ins are like, it's like getting butter with your toast, basically. If you go to San Francisco expecting to get robbed. And so Adam Schiff had to he had to give a speech dressed like this, like he's going on a camping trip in his vest here. Holy crap, Schiff gets robbed in San Francisco. The Democratic congressman and U.S. Senate candidate got a rude introduction to San Francisco's vexing reputation for car burglaries Thursday when thieves swiped his bags from his car while it sat in a downtown parking garage. So, now, do I feel bad for Adam Schiff? Do I feel bad for Adam Schiff? Yeah, nobody should have their shit stolen while they're in San Francisco. Okay. Was that sympathetic enough? I don't know. Another person training that often trends in the media, Megan Rapinoe, the fabulous, greatest sports star in the history of sports stars. Apparently, she's angry at the NCAA over transgender athletes. Good Lord. Megan Rapinoe, along with hundreds of athletes and academics, has voiced support for the inclusion of transgender athletes in women's sports, despite facing an opposition from various quarters. This stance has ignited a broad spectrum of opinions, with critics arguing that the inclusion of biological men in women's sports could undermine the achievement and opportunities of female athletes. Duh. Supporters, however, including Rapinoe, advocate for inclusivity and equal opportunities for transgender athletes, emphasizing the complex nature of the issue. It's not a complex issue. I'm sorry, it's not. Emphasizing and the need for a balanced approach. What's the balanced approach to this? The debate centers on the perceived biological differences between men and women and the potential impact of women's sports. Perceived? The perceived average physiological differences between men and women? What do you mean perceived? They're clear. Mediocre men, and I'm using men in my dialect. When I say men in my dialect of English, the English language, a man means a person born with a peen and having those chromosomes that created the physiological advantages that on average men have over women. So a trans woman, aka a man, despite taking hormones that may atrophy some of those advantages, but not enough to make it so that they can still not have advantages, should not be competing in sports with the natural born women who do not have those advantages, particularly after they've gone through puberty and have already gained several of the advantages and can't reverse them. You can't reverse the advantages. So, and look, this is such a crazy topic that I don't understand how. But again, she's in the left wing progressive end of the LGBTQ community, which, by the way, not all of the LGB of the groups believe this same philosophy as Megan Rapinoe. So, Megan Rapinoe heads like a group of hundreds of athletes and academics who think the NCAA would be on the wrong side of history if there were a ban on transgender athletes, biological men, from competing against women. Ridiculous, that's so predictable. So here's the Outkick article on this. And is it going to say anything different? I don't know. The NCAA Board of Governors expected to meet on Thursday to discuss and potentially vote on the issue involving transgender women and more commonly referred to as biological men. Yes, in my dialect, they are men. Competing in women's college sports. As a result, a number of current and former athletes who lack common sense or basic understanding of biology. Now, this is Outkick, which obviously has a they obviously have an opinion on this. Who has wrote this? By Mark Harris at Outkick. As a result, a number of former and current athletes who lack common sense or a basic understanding of biology have come together to release letters urging the NCAA not to ban trans women from competing against biological women at the collegiate level. Megan Rapinoe, along with her fiance and former WNBA star Sue Bird. Now, when you say WNBA star, the term star is used loosely. Okay, I know I shouldn't rip on the WNBA, but I will. Anyway, headline the group that include more than 400 current and former professional and collegiate athletes, 300 academics, and around 100 separate advocacy organizations. Well, whoop-de fucking do. Each person who sees nothing wrong with the biological men competing against women released separate letters on Tuesday that were coordinated by the LGBTQ sports advocacy group Athlete Ally. According to former USWNT star and hundreds of others on Rapinoe's side, keeping women's sports exclusive to biological women would place the NCAA on the wrong side of history. Really? You can see into the future, apparently. We call on you to be on the right side of history and affirm that sport is truly for all. No one's saying that sport's not truly for all. The debate is who is allowed to compete against whom in the fairest scenario. Do not ban transgender women from NCAA women's sports. It's like, hello, oxymoron. We're talking about sex, not gender. This is now time for the NCAA and the nationwide athletic community to speak up and affirm that sports should be for everyone, including transgender athletes, Rapinoe said in a statement which was released by Athlete Ally. The debate about transgender athletes is not about whether or not they should have the right to compete, but whether they should have the right to compete against biological women. Rapinoe and others constantly lump the two very separate conversations into one to mislead members of the public who haven't been paying close enough attention. Rapinoe stepping into the spokesperson's role for the group pushing for biological men competing against women comes as no surprise. In July 2023, Rapinoe told Time that she would gladly welcome a transgender athlete onto the U.S. women's national team, soccer, and anyone who disagrees with her is transphobic. Well, fuck you, okay? I'm going to say, look, call me transphobic all you want. I don't give a shit anymore, okay? I support trans people to live their lives as they choose, but because of the choice they made, doesn't mean they have 100% access to everything they want. Okay. Someone mentioned prostate exams. Okay. A transgender woman, AKA a man who identifies as trans, still can't avoid getting the prostate exams, right? You're not exempt from prostate cancer. You're not exempt from, whatever, the things that men deal with that women don't. Okay? Sorry, it's not. And so life's not fair, and you've made a very important choice in your life, but you don't get to interfere in other people's lives to do so. So, sorry, if that's transphobic, then okay, I guess I am. In some aspects. Now, should you be able to live your life however you want as long as it doesn't affect other people? Absolutely. Just like if I smoke cigars every day. Well, I get it. People don't like the smell of cigars, but if I'm smoking a cigar where I want to smoke a cigar and it's, not bothering anybody, that's great. But once I come into your house and smoke a cigar in your house and drop some ashes on the floor, well, I have a right to smoke my cigar, motherfucker. You just have to deal with it. Well, no, it's not in your house, so don't bring that shit into my house. Got it? I think that's a pretty good analogy. Maybe isn't. I don't know. Stop playing the goddamn intro, Marty. What the hell happened there? Good God. All right, moving on. Now, professor is trending. The word professor. And that's because on some of these college campuses, there's some protests going on. And apparently a professor got caught up in the, I don't know if I'd call it a melee. They got caught up in this. Apparently this professor got arrested by police during the college protest because the college protest, was getting a little wild. I don't know why they arrested the professor. Do you know they won't blame Biden administration for this. They'll blame law enforcement for all of it, and the Jews. Okay, so anyway, there is this lady is a professor, and she got arrested by police at the protest. Sorry, I didn't have it on the screen.
Get on the ground! Give me some cops! Oh my God! You people are fascists! You are Hitler! You are rabid dog! Shame on you! May you never live another day!
I am a professor!
This is an angry professor, everyone!
So anyway, they arrested this professor, and she keeps saying, "I'm a professor." And it's like, well, doesn't matter. Are you saying professors can't be arrested? I don't know. So anyway, that's why it's trending. So anyway, the campus protests are still going on. Here's Andy Noe, says a journalism student at some school here was assaulted by a far-left mass extremist in black while recording their encampment. A journalism professor at the university, Stephen Thrasher, is part of the same extremist direct action. Anyway, the protests are going on. And a couple things interesting here at the University of Florida. They're taking a little bit different approach. So breaking, the University of Florida students chose to break down their encampment after being handed this list of allowable activities and prohibitive items and activities on their campus. So they're having their protest. They did one of these encampments like they're starting to do at the other schools, like their little Chaz or Chap or whatever the hell they call them, right? Well, the University of Florida handed out some letters to these students, and these students decided to break down their encampment. Now, what did the letter say? Well, let's read the letter. University of Florida, Division of Student Life, list of allowable activities: speech, expressing viewpoints, holding signs in hands. Okay, that's probably the free speech act activities that you can participate in when you're doing this. However, prohibitive items and activities. Now, again, they're allowing speech, expressing viewpoints, and holding signs in hands. However, what they will not allow: no amplified sound. You don't have a right to amplified sound. No demonstrations inside buildings. Okay. No littering. No camping. No sleeping. No unmanned signs. No blocking egress. No building structures, chairs, stakes, benches, tables. No camping, including tents, sleeping bags, pillows, etc. No disruption. No threats. No violence. No weapons. Any other items and or activities deemed to be non-compliant with policy and regulations by university officials. Now, they also, on this letter that they handed out to students at this little encampment, consequences for non-compliance. Individuals found responsible for engaging in prohibited activities shall be trespassed from campus. Students will receive a 3-year trespass and suspension. Employees will be trespassed and separated from employment. Now, that seems to be an effective policy because they broke up their encampment. Now, interesting as I read some of the replies to this. Now here, this is the same University of Florida YSDSA will be reassembling at noon Friday, 4/26. If you're planning to go to the RTS rallies, we will be in the plaza after as well. More on RTS rally, the next tweet. So this says emergency protests. Show your Show University of Florida our solidarity is boundless. All-day rally at the Plaza of the Americas on Friday. So they're still going to have their rally. Let's see if they comply with the new rules, though. And look, someone down here said this is a blatant First Amendment violation. Oh, no, just the contrary. And Ben Sass, remember the former congressman from Nebraska, or is he senator? Senator? Might have been senator, who's the president of the University of Florida. Some are saying Ben Sass is doing the right thing. Take notes: Columbia, Harvard, Ohio State, New York University, City University of New York, USC, UCLA, Cornell. I think that's a pretty simple policy. You absolutely can have your rally here. You can absolutely hold your signs, but you cannot disrupt everyone else on campus. You don't have the right to do that. You don't have the right to obstruct people's ability to go in buildings. You don't have a right to disrupt everyone or disrupt everyone else's choice to be learning. So now let's see here. This might be the best part. Employees will be trespassed and separated from the employment. That'd be the professors. The indoctrination rot from educators gets addressed. Very good. If the University of Florida students broke down their encampment, doesn't that mean they lost? Well, yes, that's what he said. They did lose. Some people say, I've never been prouder to be a Gator. So anyway, good for the University of Florida on handling this in a professional way. Look, yeah, have your rallies, hold your signs, shout to your content, but you don't get to disrupt everybody else. So good. Now, unfortunately, at another university, someone here says, breaking, Georgia police shooting at students and university professors. Students and professors at Emory University are being shot with rubber bullets in America for standing against Israel. This is a foreign government's interference at universities. Is it though? Is it though? Now, I told you, this is, and I don't know if they need to be shooting at students with rubber bullets. I think that's a little beyond the pale. What I think should happen is what happened to the University of Florida. Just hand out simple flyers. Hey, here you go. Here's the rules. You can protest all you want, but you got to do it in a manner that isn't consistent with the mission of a university. And it's like, but it's turning into 1968 all over again. And how did 1968 go for the progressive left and Democrats, at least as far as electoral politics go? Yeah, not so well for the left. And I know that and the coincidence of this happening this year, when the Democratic National Convention is going to be in Chicago. Holy shit. The brothers on the South Side are mad about the immigrants. They're not immigrants. You're not an immigrant unless you immigrate here legally. The illegal border crossers, the people who are here unlawfully, the unlawful border crossing people that are here. They're mad about that. You got all these Palestine, whatever, Israel protests. It's as screwed up as the Republicans are, and I'm sure the Republicans will find a way to lose anyway, but it's not a good scenario for Democrats at all. So interesting that they're now shooting rubber bullets at Georgia. I think the better policy, I don't like the state shooting rubber bullets at people. I think your better answer is what the University of Florida did, and they dispersed. And look, you break these rules, you'll be suspended from school for 3 years. You will be trespassed. You will not be able to come on campus. Employees who break these rules will also be fired, so to speak. So anyway, so let's go on to a completely different topic here. But this isn't completely different because someone's been making comparisons to the Palestinian protests. Okay. Someone mentioned the Trayvon Martin BLM protest, the George Floyd BLM protest. the anti-Trump, the anti-conservative college campus protests that were happening like in 2016. Seems like every 4 years near election time, a new one pops up. Occupy Wall Street, you know, all of these different protests. And I saw this post that it was kind of apropos. So BLM, Black Lives Matter, is not about police brutality. LGBTQ MAP, he threw a map there, is not about marginalized people just wanting to live. Climate change is not about we only have one planet. Israel, Palestine, Ukraine is not about fill in whatever you think it's about. If it's organized, pops up all of a sudden, and young college kids are involved, it is 100% certainty that whatever movement the movement is, the long game is to erode the Constitution and destroy America. Well, yeah, you're looking at, they're all related to, I hate to say Marxist, but that's all I can say. This collectivism thing that's being pushed, especially in colleges, that, you know, you have to have this organized protest rally or whatever. And so anyway, please rise above your empathy or feelings to see the long con. It doesn't mean what you feel about the topic isn't valid, but what you're witnessing isn't about that. Your empathy is being weaponized, and it'll come back to haunt you and your family. Again, I call them the opportunists, right? These are the protests are just opportunists for bad anarchy. Now, when I say bad anarchy, they're in a philosophical sense, there is a good form of anarchy, but unfortunately, and that doesn't get explained enough. I have a couple friends who talk about being anarchists, meaning free people, not necessarily, not more anti-hierarchy, of just more freedom and more, it would be the extreme form of libertarianism, I guess, where people live their lives in a perfect world where humans aren't shitty humans, could just live their lives and be not bothered by a government. But this form of anarchy, which is in a sense organized chaos or unorganized chaos for chaos's sake. And it seems that always there's college students in particular, or young people, who want to be a part of something that they believe makes them part of something super important. And so this is the important thing of du jour. So anyway, moving on. Let's go to, now, the only reason I pulled this one up is because of the sheer irony of the statement. Now, I'm sure you're all familiar with Chris Christie, because you can't miss him. Although he looks like he's lost a little weight, maybe, I don't know. Not much, but because, again, deck tear off the Titanic. But this statement by Chris Christie may be the most self-unaware statement ever made in the history of mankind. Here's Chris Christie sharing some thoughts.
A criminal trial is a really awful thing to go through. And if you look at Trump physically right now, he looks terrible. A criminal trial is a really awful thing to go through. And if you look at Trump physically right now, he looks terrible.
I'm just going to let you all have a little fun with that in the chat. Excuse me. Really? Lack of self-awareness can be a crime sometimes, and boy, oh boy, is that a crime. Gravity is not being kind to this man. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. All right. Should we get to the... Oh, wait. Just before the main topic, I have one more. By the way, the show's going longer today. Jimmy Das Hotep, what's up, man? I used to see oops, wrong button. All right. Before I get to the main topic, I have one more that popped up. My friend Weebo Jones brought to my attention. And this is an interesting one. This is a man who is divorcing his wife. And I'm going to go through the messages just to let you understand this. Or let you not understand this, because I don't get it. This guy's a dumbass. So, here's a list of text messages from this couple, apparently. And I'm just the man speaks first, and we'll just go there. You've been breastfeeding? ? You know how I fucking feel about that. What time are you coming back? I don't know if I am. Why? Are you mad at me? Yes. What did I do? It's just the breastfeeding? The feelings it gives me, and how I finally understand that you don't truly respect me. I do respect you. I just thought we could compromise about breastfeeding. Talk about it. If you don't like seeing it, maybe I could just do it in a different room. Well, we didn't talk about it. You just did it. And it's not about seeing it. I know it's happening. I'm done. Now, okay, first of all, let me just remind you something. Breastfeeding is the best thing you can do for your baby. It's the best food for your baby when they're young, newborn, and up to whatever time they stop breastfeeding. It's the best nutrition, gives antibodies and everything. So I'm full proponent of breastfeeding. Both of our kids are breastfed. My daughter's breastfeeding her kids, and blah, 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 blah. Done. Let me know how you're, wait, this next sentence is amazing, because I didn't even see this full thing. I just saw the part of it, and I decided I'm going to read all the text. So wait a minute. He said, I'm done. Done? Let me know when you're being discharged, and I'll be there. She's still in the hospital with her child. Like, you're divorcing me? You go behind my back and do something I've stressed about not doing. That's no different than lying, and it shows how little you respect me. I wasn't meaning to disrespect you. I just wanted to give Wilder breast milk since he was born early, and I know that's the best thing for him with the antibodies and other stuff he'll get from it. He's not a preemie. He was born at full term. It's still unneeded. He's still bigger than I was when I was born, and you could have always asked the nurses for a pump. It's a proven scientific fact that breast milk is no better than medical modern formula. Bullshit. I know, but the benefits of breast milk still outweighs the formula. Latching helps draw the milk better than the pumps. Yeah, the benefit to where I'll never be able to look at you the same way again. What? Oh my God. What do you mean? You think I'm a bad mom for breastfeeding? I think you're a bad wife. I think you don't respect me. I think you took a joy away from me. I think a lot of things. This motherfucker took joy away from you. I don't understand what you mean. Formula can still be used. Here's the punchline. I enjoy your boobs. Now they've been in another man's mouth. I now no longer enjoy your boobs. Just Wilder's, not another man's. He's a male and your son. That makes it incestuous in my eyes. It's not like that at all. I'm not saying anything I haven't told you before. Please don't be bad. Okay. Now I'm just curious. Now I am just curious. When, I guess it's David here. When David was born, I think his name, when David was born, was he breastfed as a child? And did his dad leave his mother because he breastfed because they best friend David. Holy guy, this guy's stupid. This guy is fucking stupid. And you know what? It has nothing to do with anything on this show today other than I read that and I go, what the fuck? Holy shit. And so anyway, all right, let's move on. Let's go to the main topic. So, Tucker Carlson had an episode on his X show that he does now. And the topic was, there is systemic racism in the United States against whites. Everyone knows it. Nobody says it. How come? Now, if you saw, by the way, if you saw my, here on the pre-intro, I put a list of books here that were all these, there's a bunch of anti-white books. That's all I can call them. Just why white people are terrible and why white people are this and why white people are that. And I'm like, holy shit. Now, there's a whole lot of things wrapped up in this. And he was touting a book by here, hang on, put it on the screen. Oh, by the way, Elon Musk replied to this with the words, what? Why won't, oh, there we go. Concerning. But anyway, he was highlighting a book. Oh, where the hell is it? Oh, it's this one. Just my computer's freezing up. That's why. He's highlighting this book called The Unprotected Class, How Anti-White Racism is Tearing America Apart by someone named Jeremy Carl. Okay. Now, I don't know who Jeremy Carl is. Let's see, what's his bio say here? Former research fellow at the Hoover Institute and U.S. Department Assistant Secretary of the Interior. And he's also a senior fellow at the Claremont Institute. So anyway, and basically I'm guessing that most of this book is about how obviously there's anti-white sentiment around the country, whatever, the only class of people that you're allowed to openly criticize as far as whatever are generally, now he says white people, but I would say white men for the most part. Okay. When you start hearing about things like DEI, and which is basically just warmed over affirmative action, right? The short end of the stick in principle are generally white men, because DEI benefits white women probably more than anybody. But then, also it's basically anti-Asian too, in a sense. Okay, but the problem is I guess the question in my thumbnail today is, who do you blame? Okay, and what's interesting about this phenomenon, yes, there are black academics like Kendi, or non-academics like Bishop Talbert Swan, or all these, you go back to the Jacksons and the Sharptons and whatnot. But I don't know. They've at least Sharpton is softened somewhat, although he still makes everything about race. But the real person to blame are the people who are protesting and influencing the protesters on these college campuses. And that would be the liberal professors and the progressives on this. So I found a response to this, and I would recommend watching this. It's 23 minutes long, so I'm not going to play it. But some of the replies to this: racism is coming from white liberals. Be mad at them. And a lot of the black conservatives, and I don't mean like the go along, get along black conservatives, but black conservative voices who actually are intellectual. So I take, look, as much as I can't stand Candace Owens, every once in a while she'll spew out a talking point that makes sense, but she says so much other dumb shit that I don't understand her, and she's kind of going in a weird place right now. But I'm talking about like a lot of the black conservatives I follow, the Hoteps, the Jeff Charles of the world, the Felicia Cummings to an extent. You probably don't know these names, but they're people that who make sense and also make intellectual arguments about this. And so I saw one response to this that I particularly found to be good. So I'm going to go through this one. And because here it is. So the question, the statement that introduces this episode, there's systemic racism in the United States against whites. Everyone knows it. Nobody says it. How come? And so my friend Julian here, Julian Acard, who is a political strategist, activist, small business owner, USMC, Marine Corps veteran, and a former gubernatorial candidate, Frederick Douglass, radical Republican, writes this response real quick. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, for the big bullet tip jar. Jimmy Das Hotep, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar Sponsor of the day. Dropping a big bullet tip jar saying, a war on white people waged by white liberal females and those males, quote unquote, mad about breastfeeding. Hey, there you go. I blame conservatives for not creating real allies for decades and centuries ago. Yeah, exactly. Because there's a lot of, I know what point you're making here, Jimmy. There's a lot of conservatives who don't understand that there are a lot of us black people who agree with them on the principles of conservatism. And in fact, generally black people, black families in particular, are conservative, but unfortunately there's a certain sector of the Republicans and conservative movement that kind of reject us when we are good allies. So, but here's the great response that I thought was really important here, because this is good. This is a good response. And again, the question is, the statement is there's systemic racism in the United States against whites. Everyone knows it. Nobody says it. How come? So here is Julian Acard. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, but anyway, Julian here says he's not wrong, but there's zero sympathy for them in the black community because we've dealt with it for decades. And when we voiced our concerns, we were roundly dismissed. They're fighting the same system we are. Talking about, he says white people. Again, I say it's white men because white women are one of the big drivers of this. Okay, the ashamed of your own skin. They're fighting the same system we are. For them, it's new, but the system is the same. And we're all being manipulated by a small few with sick goals and a lot of useful idiots on both sides of the aisle playing their part. I hate racism regardless of who it targets. This war against white men is brought to you by white intersectional Marxists and their minority counterparts, skinfolk but not kinfolk, who are willing to sacrifice their own at the altar of their proletariat revolution in order to get their Marxist globalist dystopia. Systemic racism is, but first let me get a bell for that and give a cheer for that. Systemic racism is Marxism cross-dressing as progressivism, and it's been highly concentrated in urban communities for 100 years where no conservative principles of governance are even available as an alternative. We ran to different states and they came for our red we ran to different states and they came for our red states. We advocated for school choice and they infiltrated charter and private colloquial schools. I think he meant parochial schools. At what point do we change our battle tactics and take a stand? The Greeks are at the gate, and their Trojan horse is the very culture we refuse to fight in. Meaning conservatives aren't going into places where they're afraid to be rejected. And right now, the door is wide open in some of these places. When you see that video of the union worker yesterday saying, fuck Biden. When you see videos of people in Brooklyn saying, well, yeah, I'm all for Trump now. Joe Biden messed this up. When you see people in the south side of Chicago at a city council meeting berating Brandon Johnson over what's going on with these illegal border crossing people that we're coddling. My God, if we would, and the problem is the GOP, I say the GOP because that's the organization, but the conservatives will not go in and say, hey, listen what we've been saying for a long time, and we're in the same boat. And also, while we're at it, here's some conservative principles that help people start, businesses and whatnot. We could be doing that as conservatives, but we're not. And so when he says, he adds here, all government is local. This means the mistreatment that hits you the hardest comes from those you have the most leverage over. This means if the system seems racist from where you're standing, it's because your local town or city government is the perpetrator of it. So he gives a list of systemic racism. And let me know if you think these are hit the mark. Examples of systemic racism. Affirmative action. Redlining, which used to be a thing. It's not so much anymore. I know because I'm in the industry. In fact, redlining is almost the opposite. Now we call them, what do they call them? Low income census tracts, where it's, if you even have a scintille, not scintille, what's the word? Even if you have any modicum of credit at all, you could get a loan in a low income census tract. It's the opposite, but they don't understand that because they're not in the business. Defund the police. That's systemic racism. Endless wars. Systemic racism. Removing AP courses from majority minority schools. The 94 crime bill, systemic racism. Stop and frisk, that's systemic racism. Forced integration is systemic racism. Whoa, what? What? If you think about, look, and you might hear this in more black conservative circles than other circles. Was forced integration a success for black-owned businesses? Not necessarily, because many black businesses were destroyed because of integration. Oh, well, the white man's ice is colder, so we want to be able to go into the white man's place. Okay. But if all the black people are going to the white man's place, what happens to the black man's business? You don't see this. So, you know what? One of those things that I always laugh about, and I've never understood how this works. So if you go into pretty much any town in America and you go into a Chinese restaurant or a Vietnamese restaurant or a Korean restaurant, right? Ever notice how very rarely is there anyone who's not at least of that ethnicity, or at least look like they're necessarily from the part of the world where their forefathers came from? You never do, right? You never do. Hello, Brandon Narlow, by the way. Wait, where's Hammer Time? Let's see him here. Why is that? Because oh, by the way, and also, have you ever seen a lawsuit against an Asian restaurant for discrimination? No. Their businesses, it's a family business. No, it's not. It's not because they're a family business. If you go to a Panda Express, the Panda Express right down the road from me, everyone there who works there is Asian, except for one Mexican dude. I mean, but integration killed a lot of black business. Let's put it that way. Now, there's nothing wrong with integration. I want integration. I want people to live together. I want people to live in harmony. I'd like to teach the world to sing. Okay. But there were many successful black towns, Harlem was a successful black area. There was plenty of places that, even, it's funny because a lot of people talk about the Tulsa, the so-called Black Wall Street, and that how there was a big riot there, and then the governor allowed them to bomb Black Wall Street. You always hear about how Black Wall Street was destroyed. Do you ever hear about how Black Wall Street was rebuilt within 3 years? That area was rebuilt completely within 3 years, and they were up and thriving again. You never hear about that part. And then I think the Great Depression took its toll on it, but you never hear about how that, it happened, it was destroyed, but then it was rebuilt, and they were up and thriving again. So, all other groups except whites are allowed to stick to their own communities. I'm all for extending outside your own group, but that doesn't mean it's wrong to have a community of your own tribe. I'm not even, right. You're right. I don't disagree with that. If there's some white people who want to go move and have their own little town in Idaho, I don't give a shit. It doesn't affect me. I don't think you should be forced to do anything. Freedom of association is one of the 5 parts of the First Amendment, right? Freedom of association. So I have no problem with that. Do I think you should insulate yourself from other people, other cultures or not? I think you're losing out if you do, but I don't care who you associate with. That's your prerogative. And it should be everyone's prerogative. Nobody should be forced to associate with anybody. That's what I'm saying. So anyway, other things he lists here as systemic racism. The belief that we shouldn't repeal progressive policies that hurt black communities, but rather tell black people to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. What does he mean by that? I mean, the whole pull yourself up by your bootstraps thing is a lot of the things that Tucker Carlson, or people are telling Tucker Carlson too. The Chinese are the most racist. Prove me wrong. Kind of. You kind of. Also, the belief, here's something that's systemic racism. The belief that presenting policy based on conservative principles of governance to black voters is pandering. Now, is that systemic racism or just fear and laziness? Because that's what, or just mostly fear. Because that's something I hear from the GOP a lot, and it kind of pisses me off that, or some, not the GOP necessarily, but some people in the GOP or some people are conservatives. It's like, well, they're already voting 90% Democrat. Why would we even bother trying? Fuck you. Try. You'd be amazed if you start talking about things that are important to people in some of these places that you think you can't get a foothold in. Right now, I swear to God, if GOP people, Republicans started now. By the way, they just opened a Republican office in the South Side of Chicago for the first time in I don't know when. But what are the people in that Republican office talking to people about? Well, what are the black people in that area mad about? The fact that the illegal border crossers are getting all this shit. And they're putting him in the area where these black people are. And it's like, y'all, hey, how about you again? And that's where I come to say, we're America first. Do you think you could sell America first in black communities that are being pushed aside by illegal border crossers? Or could you think you could say America first in a black community where they're seeing us send another $60 billion to Ukraine or Israel or Taiwan? Again, I don't have anything against Ukraine, Israel, or Taiwan. But I think Israel's self-sufficient. Taiwan, maybe we can say, hey, we keep our military presence over there, but whatever. But do you think you could sell America first to Americans? Remember, black people in these communities are also Americans. So America first applies to them. The people in so-called Hispanic communities who are Americans are Americans. So America first applies to them. America first doesn't mean just white people. America first means Americans. How about we get the mask on the oxygen mask on the Americans in the depressurized plane before we try to go put masks on everybody else? But right now we keep putting the mask on everybody else and we're dying. Other things he lists here as systemic racism. Using police to levy fines against citizens to make up for unfunded pension liabilities and profit. You know, like how all the speed traps come out towards the end of the month because they need to keep their budget up. It's like, motherfucker, you're just trying to raise revenue. Gentrification. I'm not sure how gentrification is systemic racism. I mean, gentrification is just a case where new money's coming into an area, but it does hurt the people in that area. But I don't understand how that's systemic racism unless you change zoning. Okay. Now that's the other thing. If you're changing zoning in an area because you see its potential, but people that already live there, you know, that I can see that being it. Systemic racism, civil asset forfeiture. Oh, now, granted, that hurts everybody, but, you know, look at how successful Black, conservative, and Hodge twins are. Most of their fans are white. Yeah, they are. But a lot of, you know, but now I've been noticing like someone like ABL lately, and granted, most of his fans are white. Hodge twins fans are white, but they're starting to see some of this too. I listen to them. I watch them pretty regularly, and you're starting to hear this kind of thing too from them, where it's saying, "Hey, you know what? There's an untapped resource that y'all aren't seeing here. There's untapped areas where why are you afraid to go there?" Okay, you're gonna hear some of the same thing. The weaponization of the justice system. Oh, that's sure systemic racism. And now, again, if you're white and on the right, you're starting to see that too, especially white males. Soft on crime policies. That's definitely systemic racism. How are you going to be soft on crime in places where crime is high? Because, you know, that's the, what do they call it? The bigotry of low expectations. You just let crime happen. Well, if crime's happening in areas where minorities live because they happen to be also lower income areas, that's terribly racist just to let it happen. What are you talking about? That's terrible. Gun laws, systemic racism. Refusal to prosecute Hunter Biden, systemic racism. Or says systemic cronyism. The refusal to shut down and prosecute everyone involved in starting the BLM riots. That's systemic racism. You're allowing it to happen because, wow, oh my gosh, we can't arrest these minorities. The refusal. Oh, sorry. Here's one. The idea that every successful Black person benefited from affirmative action or needs affirmative action in order to be successful. I personally, I get the argument about DEI, okay, and I think affirmative action's dumb. Okay, it's not the best way to do things. You know, my druthers, we would specifically target education from 1st through 6th grade. Okay, that's where you start. You do not start by making decisions based on race, color, whatever. But I also need to remind you, who does affirmative action benefit the most? Well, we already know white women, right? White women, but also already affluent Black people. So you cannot assume that just because someone benefited from affirmative action usually the people who benefit from affirmative action who are of color, so to speak, are people who are already affluent or accomplished or already within the framework of where you can hire. So to assume that someone's successful because they benefit from affirmative action, probably those people would be successful anyway. And the only way that, and the idea that everyone needs affirmative action to be successful, like when I went to college, and some dumbass kid one time said something about me benefiting from affirmative action. And somehow the conversation got down to what were our ACT scores and GPA. And I had a 3.95 GPA in high school. And I had a 28 on my ACT. So this guy had a 24 in his ACT. I'm like, oh, well, I guess maybe you're the affirmative action hire. Okay. Don't assume just because the skin has some melanin in it that, and that the person's wearing a suit and tie and is successful, it has anything to do with the affirmative action. You know, look up the black billionaires of the world. There's several of them. That wasn't because of affirmative action. That's because they were successful people. Systemic racism, the refusal to prosecute corrupt police in order to garner endorsement from police unions. I have a love-hate relationship with the police. And I've never had any personal issues with the police, but fuck the bad police. Kudos to the good police. They're just human beings. Some of them suck and some of them are great. As a principle, the police are important to our society. But every bad cop can go fuck off. How about that? Okay. Others insist. I mean, the other things he asked here, these are all, and when we say, and as you get down this list, you realize that he's talking about how progressive policies pervert a lot of these things, but also some of the conservative conceptions pervert some of these things. Okay, so the blue, yeah, I back the good blue, but fuck the bad blue. Okay, and also, guess what? They're still the state. Okay, the police are still the state, and sometimes the state is there to take from you. Okay. Other examples he gives: the Department of Education, which is just a shit show. Get rid of the fucking Department of Education. Let local communities determine how they're going to educate their people, because the Department of Education is an abject failure. The FBI. Do I need to say anything about that? The war on drugs, open border policies, sanctuary cities, Hollywood, the legacy media, the pervasive talking points surrounding race in both parties. If you, I swear to God, I get so tired of hearing, well, 13% of the population commits 50% of the murders. No. A tiny percentage of the 13% do that. And guess what? Usually that's in reference to some other bullshit that, the only reason that is brought up is, what about black people? But in reality, the reason I'm concerned about a statistic with that tiny percentage within the overall amount of black people is, the only reason you should care about that is because 50% of the murder victims are black. And so why that's something we would want to reduce. The most common cause of death of men ages 15 to 45 is homicide. So that's why you should be caring about it, not because you're making some argument about, well, what about the South Side of Chicago? Well, shut the fuck up. We get it. But it's still a 0.5% of the population is responsible for over 50% of the murders. Okay. Higher education. Yeah, higher education's fucked right now. They've the insane asylum, which is higher education, has been taken over by the patients. All those radical progressives from the 60s and early 70s are now the ones who run those institutions. They've taken it over because they know that's they can indoctrinate themselves into power. The legacy media, the attempt to emasculate black men in media. Now, you may not be sensitive to this, but as a black man, I am. I get tired of seeing black men in dresses on anywhere. I get tired of seeing it because it seems to be something they're trying to push and trying to get rid of black men. Okay. The use and parts of black culture to push a trans agenda. Kind of a similar thing there. It's funny how they're pushing the trans stuff in the black community so much. Wait a minute. What? No. Can we still have some men in our communities? And then finally, he adds Antifa and black BLM organizations and the idea that black people should all think the same, act the same, or own allegiance to either party. And that's systemic within, and I hate to say the black community because again, we're not necessarily a community, but we have common issues in a vague sense, I guess. Because I look, I'm a black man married to a white woman living in a suburb that's mostly white. We have a couple black neighbors, but I mean, for the most part, I live in a white area of town. I have for most of my life. Even growing up, we had a neighborhood that my parents were involved in creating this neighborhood that was one of the big first suburb integrated neighborhoods. But, I don't live in a low-income census tract where there's a lot of minorities and people in low income or whatever, but neither do most black people. Do you realize most black people, majority of black people, are above the poverty line, are considered middle class? The myth is that we're all poor. We all have the same thoughts. We all have the same politics. We all do the same shit. Well, we don't. Oh, I haven't made that video yet. I'll make that video I talked about yesterday, by the way. So anyway, he says, should I go on? The issue is progressivism. Instead of explaining this as the root of the problem and providing bad policy based on conservative principles of government, or excuse me, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Instead of explaining this as the root of the problem and providing policy based on conservative principles of governance and removing the policies of progressivism that have destroyed the black community, we blame the victims of progressivism. It's like slut-shaming someone who was raped rather than executing the rapist. Take the opportunity to pitch your solution instead of continuing the cyclical argument. So, and I'm 100% on with this, and hashtag Unite America, because look, the black people are mired in the situations in some areas of the country. The percentage of the black people who are, because not all, aren't they victims of progressive policy? Absolutely. Stop being a slut. That's funny. Now, he continues here, and I'll finish up with this. Well, not finish up, because we still got to do Q&A today, which we're going to do. I said the show's going long today. So he continues here. The Democrat and Republican parties are like abusive mothers and absent fathers to the black community. The child would not be abused if the father was there to protect the child. Imagine an absent father's first words chastising the child that they've never bothered to speak to. He's talking to the Republicans here. And that's true, because you're afraid to talk to you've left you left the kids with the progressive mother. The conservative father doesn't even bother talking to you. The father hasn't built a rapport with the child, nor enough respect for tough love to be received. Rather, we should listen to the grievances and make serious efforts to solve the root problems before asking for trust. The point is that it all started with us. Democrats use the black community as guinea pigs for their death, poverty, and destruction. Now that they've perfected how to destroy a community, they've exported it to every suburb and middle-class community in America. Learn how they did it to us, and you can prevent it from being successful with you. Acknowledge what they did to us, and more of us who aren't already lifelong conservatives will join you in unity against the left. Democrat history is being protected and apologized for by Republicans once again. Maybe if conservatives spent more time advocating for their own Republican history and principles than defending the left, we'd actually win. Go ahead and wave that treacherous Democrat rebel flag. We deny every part of black history, which was synonymous with Republican history for 100 years, but defend every act of the left. So, I personally think that is a brilliant response to Tucker Carlson. And what we need to do is fight the progressives. Okay, we can sit and complain about our situation, but shouldn't we be pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps? Isn't that what that's always the line, right? All right. The geese shall not defeat us. Okay. I'm going to listen to here, looking at the chat. All right. So that's that. Let me just see. Did I have anything else that I was going to do before Q&A? We're going to go to Q&A next. Okay. I'm going to leave that. There's a video of a guy talking about girls sports, but I'm going to skip it. And also in the links today, I'm just going to put the, J.J. Sefton's morning report aggregator, all kinds of news in there that you can check out, because I'm not going to have any other articles today. But let's get to today's Q&A, and don't need Arbor Day. Or here, maybe I'll put Arbor Day up here. I'll put the Wikipedia link to Arbor Day too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. It is that time for Q&A. Now, Friday Q&A, obviously, is a momentous event that we do every Friday. And I'm always interested and or concerned of what kind of questions are being asked. But it's very important that we go to the questions. By the way, the poll today on how to spell yeses or yeses, 69% got it right, and the rest of you are wrong. There are two S's if you're going to say yeses, even though that's a weird fake word. All right. Let's do Friday Q&A. Let me open the Friday Q&A window so I can also follow the chat while I do this. Oh, what fresh hell could be in the Q&A today? Let's go. Top chat. We got questions. Let's open this up so I can see both chats. And all right, here we go. Friday Q&A. Oh, wow. Some people beat you to it too, AD. So there's a question at the top that I cannot read, unfortunately. Select a boy. Let's start with Select a boy here. What has a head, a tail, but no body? A coin? That's what I would say. That would be my guess. It's if I started Disturbed, went Nology, then went back to Disturbed. Okay. So thank you. Select a boy. That's the first question of the day. What has a head, a tail, but no body? A coin. Lord Stanhope asks, What are the chances that all of this conspiring against Caucasians was an attempt not to bring them down, but rather strengthen them by making life harder and let evolution take place? I don't think that anyone thought it out that much. I think it's a phenomenon. Caucasians have had a very strong position in the world for so long, and everyone else has been taught to resent them. Lord Stanhope, is today going to be a good day? Of course, every day is a good day. I'm breathing, I'm alive, I'm happy, and I'm here with you today. Lord Stanhope, would you live in the hood? No, not if I didn't have to. I have no reason to live in the hood. In fact, well, it depends on what you mean by the hood, though. I live in a hood. I live in a neighborhood, but I know what you mean by the hood. No, I've been fortunate enough to be economically well off enough through the efforts of me and Lady Boomer that we don't have to live in the hood. We have a nice house in a suburb that we feel safe in or whatever. So no. Lord Stanhope, are you going to have a good weekend? Probably. I'm having a garage sale tomorrow. I've been refurbishing a bunch of furniture and I'm going to sell it. And I've been selling it over the internet, but I'm also selling it in a garage sale. So yeah, I should have a good weekend. Anna Lynn. Uh-oh, what the hell happened here? There we go. Oh, is this it for questions? Is that all there is? There's got to be more than this. Are the systems still possible to be saved, or is rebuilding it from scratch the only answer? You know, it's not that the system needs to be saved. I think the system needs to be adhered to. Wait, skipped first 3/4 of the questions. How did I skip 3? Oh, did I? Oh, shit. Okay, I got you. For some reason, this scrolled down all the way, like immediately when I did this. Okay, well, here we go. Let's go. I'm going to start from the top, and then I won't try not to repeat questions. Starting at the top. Thank you for letting me know. I'm like, where are all the questions? Avocados Diabli, did you know human children do not get kneecaps until they're around 3 years old? What? Hold up. What the hell are you talking about? When do kneecaps develop? I never heard this before. Do babies have kneecaps, and when do kneecaps form? Typically by age 10 or 12, the kneecap is fully developed into bone. Small portion of the original cap remains as cartilage, while other small portion of the fatty tissue called the fat pad. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, babies with bony kneecaps at birth could make the birthing process more difficult or result in birth injuries. Bone is very rigid, but less flexible than cartilage. It's more likely to break if the wrong kind of pressure is applied. Kneecap is made of cartilage, more easily handles the transition a child makes when learning to crawl or walk. Babies have far more cartilage in their skeletons than adults do, according to Dr. Blah, blah, blah. So basically, most children's kneecap begin to ossify, turn from cartilage into bone between the ages of 2 and 6 years old. I had no idea. Holy shit. I did not know that. I learn something new every day. Thank you, AD. Also, AD, Avocados Diabli, says, did you know if you drop silly putty, for those of us who remember what that is, from a great height, it will shatter and not bounce? No, I did not know that. Also, by the way, I would advise you to never buy silly putty. Did you know that you can find a silly putty recipe online and it's cheap to make and you make a lot more of it, and it's just as good as the silly putty you buy? But no, I did not know that. Oh, no. Okay, wait a minute. Never mind. Not silly putty. Not silly. I'm thinking of Play-Doh. silly putty. I thought silly putty would bounces. But if you from a great height, it will shatter, not bounce. I did not know that. Avocados Diablo says, did you know some turkeys can undergo parthenogenesis? Nature invented the self-basting turkey, apparently. No, I did not know that either. These are all yes or no questions. Did you know that some aphids are born already pregnant? No, that's weird. Lord Stanhope, what are your thoughts on Faith No More? I don't know. If you want it all, you can have it. That's the only song I know by Faith No More. You want it all, but you can't have it. Remember that song? What is it? What is it? So, one hit wonder as far as I'm concerned. Avocado Stalby, did you know that one 18-inch pizza is more pizza than two 12-inch pizzas? I actually did know that. Isn't that weird? There's so much more surface area, I guess, on one 18-inch pizza. Avocado Stalby, what does any of this have to do with self-repeating Franken-ants? Nothing. And God damn it with the Franken-ants. Avocado Stalby, in honor of Arbor Day, did you know there are more trees on Earth than stars in the galaxy? Really? Oh, wait, if you're assuming our galaxy, I could see where that might be possible. Now, in the universe, how would you know? But in our galaxy, sure, that could be a thing. I did not know that. Lord Stanhope, what is the proper amount of times one must chew Doritos so it doesn't lacerate your anus? Well, first of all, I don't know that Doritos could survive the entire digestion process, even if you didn't chew them up quite well enough. I'd be more worried about your esophagus than your anus, though. Look, at least the stomach juices would break it down a little bit to remove the Sharpie bits. So anyway, Avocados Dabbly, in other college questions, did you know Oxford is older than the Aztec Empire? Interesting, because I don't know how long the Aztec Empire lasted. So, okay, let me think here. Yeah, I don't know if there's any Aztecs left. I guess they're called mestizos. So yeah, that could be. Oxford's been around a long time. Avocados Diabli, did you know baby carrots were invented in 1986? No, I didn't. And did you know, most people don't even know that baby carrots aren't really baby carrots. They're just carrot parts that they shaped into carrot parts, whatever, and called them baby carrots. Kind of a dumb concept, actually. Avocados Diabli, did you know a day on Venus is longer than a year on Venus? Oh, really? It takes longer for Venus to spin than it takes for it to go around the sun? I had no idea. That's interesting. Lots of very ethereal questions today. I think I used that word right. I don't know what it means. But anyway, Lord Stanhope, in your honest opinion, when Vicki Lawrence was on Mama's Family, in your honest opinion, when Vicki Lawrence was on Mama's Family, you think she looked good naked? Well, okay, remember, Vicki Lawrence was playing a character, and so it really has no effect on whether or not she looked good naked. I don't know. She was still a fairly young woman at the time. I don't know. I don't know. Avocados Diabli, why am I channeling Neil deGrasse Tyson's Twitter account today? Because maybe you're on Neil deGrasse Tyson's Twitter account. I don't know. Avocados Diabli, did you know that Australia, if it existed, would be wider than the moon if it existed? What? That I did not know, and that doesn't make sense to me, but I don't know how actually what the size of the moon is. All right. Oh, what was the good answer Select a Boy did? Chew 6 times and swallow. Oh, for the Doritos? Yeah, I got you. Rectal thermometers are a form of Aztec. Okay, I'm reading the carrot or the chat too now. All right, let's see. Avocados Diabli. Did you know headphones can increase the bacteria in your ears? That makes sense. I suppose bacteria can grow in an enclosed space. Is that why I'm having... What? Okay. Lord Stanhope, what is your preferred brand of storm windows? Of storm windows? I don't know. Probably Anderson. Did Anderson make storm windows too? I know they make windows. Do they make storm windows? I'm pretty sure they do. I would say Anderson. Avocados Diabli, did you know in Switzerland, if you own a guinea pig, by law, you have to own 2 guinea pigs so they don't get lonely? Is that really a law? Okay, I don't believe you. How do you spell guinea pig? I want to spell it right. Where's the question? UINEA, pigs, Switzerland. Guinea pig Switzerland law. A Swiss law designates guinea pigs as social creatures under Article 13 of Switzerland's Animal Protection Ordinance. Social animals must be given adequate, oh my God, must be given adequate social contact with animals of the same species. Although most useful government resources about Swiss guinea pig laws are available only in German, they can be translated fairly easily through an online translation site. So, yes, that is true. I had no idea. I suppose maybe that makes sense, except do they have to be opposite sex guinea pigs? Because then you would have lots more guinea pigs. Okay. Did you know, okay, Avocados Diablo, did you know that the popsicle was originally called the Epsicle after the 11-year-old who accidentally invented them? That's a bit of knowledge I did not know. Lord Stanhope, if you have to help the helper, how much help is the helper helping? If you have to help the helper, how much is the helper helping? Well, if you're taking time away from doing what you're doing to have the person helping you, to help them help you, then they're not helping enough. Avocados Diabli, did you know a sloth can hold its breath longer than a dolphin? That makes sense. They don't move that fast, so they don't need to use oxygen as fast. Seriously, this is, again, Avocados Diabli, seriously, when do I get even one shrimp? Somewhere along the line, I hope there's a follow-up question to understand that question. But you can get one shrimp right now if you get in your car and drive to the store. Okay, Avocados Diabli, did you know the marshmallows in Lucky Charms were originally just circus peanuts cut into tiny pieces? No, I did not. And I'm wondering when Lucky Charms were invented, and if I was alive when they were invented. But I think Lucky Charms are much older than me. Avocados Diabli, did you know from 1912 to 1952, competitive art was an Olympic sport? Competitive art. Okay, let's look that one up because that's another weird one. Competitive art Olympics. When the Olympics gave, here's from Smithsonian Magazine. In the 1912 Summer Olympics in Stockholm, American Walter Winans took the podium and waved proudly to the crowd. He had already won 2 Olympic medals, a gold for sharpshooting at the 1908 London Games, as well as a silver for the same event in 1912. But the gold he won in Stockholm wasn't for shooting or running or anything particularly athletic at all. It was instead awarded for a small piece of bronze he had cast earlier that year, a 20-inch tall horse pulling a small chariot. For his work, an American trotter, Winans won the first ever Olympic gold medal for sculpture. For the first 4 decades of competition, the Olympics awarded official medals for painting, sculpture, architecture, literature, and music alongside those for athletic competitions. From 1912 to 1952, juries awarded a total of 151 medals to original works in the fine arts inspired by athletic endeavors. Now, on the eve of the 100th anniversary of the first artistic competition, even Olympic fanatics are unaware that arts, along with athletics, were a part of the modern games from nearly the start. So there you go. No, I didn't know that. Why in the hell would I know that? And that's fascinating. I had no idea. Great question. All right, there we go. Let me make this so I can see both what I'm doing here. All right, thank you, Avocados Diablo, for that one. That was enlightening. Lord Stanhope, aren't you secretly happy that Adam Schiffhead got robbed? Okay, I'll be honest. I'm laughing about that. It's hilarious. And couldn't happen to a better guy. Lord Stanhope, if you kicked a trans woman in the nuts and they fall to the ground in pain, how would a liberal explain that? Well, you kicked her in her lady balls. What do you expect? Avocados Dabbly, from the people who brought you self-repeating Franken ants, namely me, have you ever heard of the Hot Wheels Sisyphus ground spiders of China? I have not, and I'm not even going to look that one up. Here, I'll put the name in the. Can I put the name in the chat? Yeah, I can. I'm gonna put the name. Oops, wait. I'm gonna stop. What the hell? Here we go. For those who want to know what these are, here's the. Wait, what? Stop. That's not what I wanted to do. What the hell? You can't even cut and paste stuff in the chat, can you? Apparently you can't. Or can you? What the hell? No, I don't want to. I don't want the whole damn thing. I just want. Oh, for fuck's sake! I'm not going to do it. Fuck it. Avocados Diabli. If in space no one can hear you scream, does that mean in space all sex is or is not rape? I mean, ignoring the obvious, dying to the vacuum of space, that is. What? I'm not answering that. I have no idea. I don't even understand the question. Avocados Diabli, why would I go to a rally at an encampment at a college? I cannot shower, shit in a bucket, and eat uncooked ramen at home. Oh, I cannot shower, shit in a bucket, and eat uncooked ramen at home if I really wanted to. Well, that's a good point. Lord Stanhope, Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, or Sarah Vaughan? Only one can sing to you. Who is it? Ooh, that's tough. I personally like Sarah Vaughan's voice the best of the three. Billie Holiday, obviously a product for time. I love her song "God Bless the Child," by the way, but her voice is a little too tinny for my taste. And Ella Fitzgerald, brilliant artist, obviously, but I love that deep tone of Sarah Vaughan's voice. All right, Lord Stanhope, who did Pink Floyd need as a group more, Roger or Dave? Ooh, that's tough. Roger Waters or Dave Gilmour he's speaking of. Boy. Probably Roger Waters. I'm guessing. I don't know. I mean, they were a team, so who knows? Lord Stanhope, ever notice the random protests you spoke of every 4 years never really accomplished anything? Oh no, they're just sow discord among the dumbasses, and then hopefully get them to vote for Democrats. But this one's going to backfire a little bit because they're mad at Joe Biden. So who knows? Avocados Diabli, which of us has a problem? Me for the things I ask, or you for allowing me to ask them? Or are we both fucked? No, it's absolutely you. Lord Stanhope, how much of the internet is fake? 30% 13%, but not that 13%. Don't start some shit with me. We already had this discussion. Avocados Diabli, has it ever occurred to you that these text conversations people post online is just them texting themselves with a burner phone to create a story? It is certainly possible. Like, very well could be. That could be a fake conversation. And especially the fact that they had Dave, or maybe it was just, oh no, it was a conversation with Dave. So she posted. I don't know. A lot of them could be. A lot of them could be. Lord Stanhope, straight white Christian men, that's not a question. Lord Stanhope, do the activists realize that all the anti-whiteness is a scam, a grift, and a fraud? Much of it is. I mean, Beverly D'Angelo's taking that shit to the bank, baby. She gets $30,000 a pop to lecture at all these universities where they're protesting. Avocados Diabli, to add to the list of systemic racism, abortion, gun control, just to name a couple. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Avocados Diabli, oh, never mind. That last one, you scrolled down and he mentioned them. Oh, yes, he did. Avocados Diabli, are these even questions? How did I get here? Who are you? Where did my pudding go? I think Joe Biden, they took your pudding to give to Joe Biden because, government steals. Lord Stanhope, who are the most racist Asians? Probably the, God, I'm afraid to answer this. Probably the real Chinese, the Chinese, as opposed to like Chinese Americans. And the Hmong are the least racist. Okay, who are the sexiest Asians? Oh my God. I have a fraternity brother named Dan, and he just he loves fetish. He loves Asian women. Did I say the fetish in there? Filipinos, absolutely. Select a boy. What has a head and a body? Okay, I did that one. That's where I got messed up. Okay, on the weekend. Okay, is this possible? Okay, got that. So stranger. Okay, did that one. What do you like? Oh, here we go. New question. So a stranger promised me there would be free all-you-can-eat shrimp, yet I am suspiciously lacking in even one shrimp. How is this possible? Was I lied to? First of all, I got a question, AD. Why exactly would you even think of getting all-you-can-eat shrimp from a stranger? Oh, wait. Wrong answer. On the Korean, who are the hottest Koreans? Or who are the hottest Asians? Definitely Korean women. Definitely. We watch a lot of Korean dramas. Oh my God. They all look, the men are beautiful in Korea. They're all beautiful. It's really weird. Of course it is TV, but we watch those K-dramas and my God, everyone is so beautiful. You're just like, oh my God. Okay. Kara Soldier, what do you like in your tacos? But first, chicken or beef, and then after that, there's a place. It's actually a barbecue place, but they have they do tacos every Thursday, like different kinds of tacos, and they make a really good barbacoa, taco. So that's beef. But I also like El Pastor, which is spicy pork tacos. So either one. But I like chicken too. I like them all. Avocado Diabli, has everyone ever told you look just like Judge Judy? If she were a man, had a darker complexion, gained 100 pounds, shaved her head, and grew a goatee. Hey, now listen. She would have to gain way more than 100 pounds to even be close. I'm just saying. I look... I look, I'm not like super fat, but I'm also, I'm 6'4" and built like an NFL lineman. So you'd have to probably gain about 180. But no one has told me that. Avocado Diabli, so did you look more into the self-repeating Franken ads like you said you would? If not, why? And if so, Well, they call me crazy. Yeah, I looked into the Frankenance thing. I looked it up, and I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? And the self-repeating, though, that's the problem. I don't understand. The self-repeating Franken. Oh, there it is. I did look this up once. Self-repeating Frankenance. Okay, for those who are not in the know, I'll even leave a link to this. Hopefully it's on Wikipedia. Self-repeating immortal Frankenance is the phrase I got to use today at our group meeting and a possible solution to a script that was difficult to trace. That's the only place I see it. It's a Reddit post. Oh, wait. It must be one of those self-repeating immortal Frankenance. Okay, let me add immortal to this. Because now this shit's really bothering me. And self-repeating mortal. Okay, here we go. You know what that is? All that is a fire ant. No? Is this just some joke on the internet that I don't know about? Anyway, I'm done. Select a boy. Are you excited for the playoffs this season? You mean which playoffs? The WNBA playoffs? No, the NBA playoffs. Yeah, kind of, because the Timberwolves are doing well. And God, would it be just wild if the Wolves made it to the NBA championships? That would be crazy. So anyway, it may or may not happen. Avocado Diablo, has anyone told you look? Okay, wait a minute. Wait, you already did. I already did that one. You read that one twice. Has anyone ever told you look like Judge Judy? Were she a man and gained 100 pounds and a dark bush? You wrote that question twice. I'm not answering it again. Let's see. It's done. Avocado Diablo. Did you know there is one banyan tree that is larger than the average Walmart? It wouldn't surprise. Well, the average Walmart, that'd be a fucking big banyan tree. Seen a lot of those. There was some in Hawaii, but they weren't that big. Oh, there was one, man. There was a banyan tree. I swear, in Hawaii, and I don't know when they transplanted it because it's not native to Hawaii, but that thing was like probably as big as your average 7-Eleven convenience store. I mean, you had to walk around it like it was a building. It was huge. So I'm sure there's probably one in the world that is as big as an average Walmart. Kara Soldier, have you watched the Expendables franchise, and which one was your favorite movie? Yes, I think I've seen all of them. I think, was it the second one where Arnold made the surprise appearance in it? And I just think those movies are funny because, all these action heroes getting together and kind of making just a way outlandish movie. It's just fun. It has no purpose. It's nothing but blow shit up and putting all these faces in the screen at the same time. And it's just a fun concept. So I do enjoy them, even though they're fairly useless movies. Select a boy. If an ant can lift 10 times their size, how much would a human have to lift to equal that amount? 10 times that human's weight. I think that's what it meant. Avocado Stabby. My first question was, a stranger told me there would be a free for all you can eat shrimp. I see. Yeah, I covered that. Select a boy. Did you know that American Eskimo dogs were used as circus dogs in the Ringling Brothers Circus? I did not know that. Thank you for that information. Lord Stanhope, how is it wrong to have a dream where I get manhandled by a big booty black woman cop? I don't know where perhaps I would have even implied that was wrong. So there you go. Enjoy your dreams. Avocado. Okay. You did the Judge Judy thing 3 times. We're done. Avocado Diablo. Oh no, Lord Stanhope. How much would you pay to have Judge Judy nudes removed from your PC? Okay. First of all, there would be no Judge Judy nudes on my PC, period. End of story. Okay? No Judge Judy nudes. And if for some reason Judge Judy nudes magically appeared on my PC, I wouldn't pay a dime or even a penny to have them removed. I would personally remove them myself. So I hope that answers your question. That's all. Avocaz Tabli, what even are technical difficulties? They're boomerisms during my stream. Okay, that's the technical difficulties are boomerisms. Okay, Avocaz Tabli, what you talk about, Willis? Whatever the hell I want to. And finally, the last question of the day, which is, what's the deal with dudes into feet? I will never understand people who are into feet. Feet are disgusting. Feet smell bad. They're funny looking. There's no reason even the cleanest foot would ever reach anywhere near my mouth or nose or anything. I'm not into feet. Sorry. I have a hard time even giving my wife a foot massage. And my wife hates feet, especially my crusty ass feet. So there you go. All right, guys, that's it. Holy shit, did I go overtime today? Look, thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. As you know, I'm here Monday through Friday. Now, before you don't click, by the way. Don't click away yet, because I got a couple things to say. I want to remind you that I am leaving. I didn't put up separate articles today, but I did leave JJ Sefton's morning report out, where he has tons of great articles if you want to get caught up on things that are happening in the world, politics, whatever. And also there was a video in my links of a father very passionately talking about why he doesn't want males competing in women's, girls' sports, whatever. Not gonna play today. So if you can do, I don't have nudes of Judge Joe Brown either. Stop it. You can all stop it right now. Before you click away, hit the like button, share the stream, and consider donating to the show through either Streamlabs, pdognight.live, which is the Streamlabs link, Venmo, Cash App in the description, or Super Chats and Rumble Rants during the show. But best place, again, pdognight.live, 24 hours a day. Plus, I'll always read your messages on the show. Also, I'm going to probably put out a couple short videos this weekend. One on the one I talked about yesterday. And I think that's it. Look, thank you for all of you who come here on a daily. It's great to have that support. It's the reason I keep doing it. Hope you had fun today. Thanks for joining me. Got to go, though. My name is P-Dog Knight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.